Senior investigative reporter Aaron Katersky joins me live now, along with former federal prosecutor Renato Mariotti for more on this. Renato, can you walk me through the reasons an attorney would advise their client to plead the fifth in a case like this?
Sure. It would be because you believe that answering those questions could potentially lead to criminal liability in another case or in a different matter.
Is the president's title, the former president's title here, relevant to this at all? Having a high-profile client like that, would that make you more likely to advise them to plead the fifth?
No, actually, I think that I would advise anyone in his situation to plead the fifth. And simply that's because he appears to be the subject of multiple criminal investigations. We know that some of his aides from the White House, some of, for example, the vice president's aides were recently interviewed by the Justice Department, and they're looking at that fake elector scheme that he was involved in. We also know there was a Fulton County investigation of the former president. You know, there's obviously a criminal investigation in Manhattan of his businesses. Everything he says in that deposition could be used against him in any of those cases. And so there's a lot of potential jeopardy for him.
And Aaron, this is a separate investigation from the FBI search at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. We just heard Renato saying that what he said, if he had answered the questions to this deposition, could potentially come into play in some of these other investigations. Could it work the other way around? Could what they uncovered at Mar-a-Lago, if anything, then somehow factor into this New York probe?
I suppose if they found evidence that he messed with the valuations of his real estate properties, then maybe. But it's hard to believe that they would find anything that Attorney General Letitia James hasn't turned up over the last 3 years since she's been investigating the way the Trump organization handles property valuations, depending on who they're talking to, tax authorities or lenders, for example. So it's unlikely that the two investigations would cross paths, especially now since the former president has declined to answer her questions, undoubtedly perhaps thinking about the potential criminal exposure from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, in addition to what he said in his statement, which was that he's being treated unfairly by all law enforcement investigative agencies.
Renato, what does this deposition tell you about how far the New York AG is into her investigation? Do you think we could see charges filed soon, if at all?
Yeah, I think you'll see a civil suit filed. This seems to me like something you would do towards the end of a case, the end of an investigation, when you have everything lined up, you have all your documents and evidence lined up, and you want to confront Trump with everything. This actually, I will say, the civil deposition helps her greatly in a civil case against Trump personally. In particular, she ends up doing that because in a civil case, his silence can be used against him. His taking the fifth can be used against him in a civil matter.
And Aaron, you are keeping track of all of these investigations for us. So what are you looking out for next?
Well, there are efforts underway in Fulton County, Georgia, the matter of fake electors, to get the former president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, to come in and testify. And there are efforts underway, of course, to try and talk to other Trump aides in association with the January 6th committee. We're waiting to see what the committee may be ready to do in September with additional hearings and how that may influence what the Justice Department does. And then in the matter of the classified material, the question is whether the Justice Department would say anything to give the public an understanding of what predicated the raid on the former president's residence in Florida. So far, the Justice Department is sticking by its longstanding practice not to say anything about a matter until charges are filed.
And we know that in the New York Attorney General probe, Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka Trump have both been deposed. Could we see other Trump family members pulled into this?
Eric Trump was deposed. It's been more than a year now, and he also pleaded the fifth. Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka Trump, we're told, did not plead the fifth. They answered questions from the investigators in New York, and how that ultimately factors into whatever enforcement action the Attorney General takes, we'll wait and see, but they're said to be close.
All right, we'll be keeping an eye on it for us. We know you especially will for us. Aaron Katersky, Renato Mariotti, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.